every Tuesday. And now the coach is back with us here on this Wednesday morning as the Burrows are celebrating yesterday their son finally signing his contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. Got to feel good this morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I missed you guys.
Absolutely. You never know. We miss you very much, Coach.
I miss 2019.
Yes. $36 million, $9 million a year for number 9. It all just kind of makes sense. I guess what was the relief? What was the thought once this news was finalized?
Well, it was a process, just like any contract, I guess, in any business that's negotiated. Even though the rookie salary scale is pretty much what it is, there's this language that needs to be ironed out, and we were happy the way it was going. As a parent, you get a little nervous when it isn't a done deal, but once they agreed on the principle of everything yesterday, it did make us all feel real good, and Rob and I are happy. Joe's happy, and he's just glad to get that part behind him.
Is he still living in your basement, or did he report to camp this week?
No, we finally got him out of here. He was anxious. He lives he has a place in Cincinnati, and it's about 10, 12 minutes from the stadium. He wanted to be close because you guys know how much time he likes to spend at the facility. So he's getting settled in there and getting ready to report here soon to camp.
Okay, so the Saints reported yesterday. The Bengals have not yet reported then.
That's correct. I think there are rookies there. Joe hasn't been. I'm not sure whether it's tomorrow or Friday, but by the end of the week, it sounds like the veterans will be in, and I think Joe's will be reporting with those guys.
Can you talk about his mentality through this process? I'd imagine that even though he is the number one pick, he's been able to work alongside his guys, and it's been very frustrating because he's not had the access that usual players do at this point. Can you talk about his process of getting prepared for year one, Coach?
Well, he spent a lot of time virtually in those Zoom meetings with the staff, offensive staff from the Bengals, and pretty much got a lot of the playbook installed, and then he would throw with a couple of his buddies from high school, the twins that are now the starting tight ends for Ohio Bobcats. He was able to get together with those guys. Limited. They started out just finding a place here and there. Actually, the first time they threw was at their old third and fourth grade practice field, which was kind of cool. And then eventually they ended up at the high school throwing. And he misses being around teammates, and he really doesn't know those teammates yet. But he's always loved being around guys like that in the locker room. That's just who Joe is, and he misses that. He's looking forward to getting to know his teammates and his coaches. Really, he still only met his coaches, I think, the first at the combine, especially Zach Taylor. He hasn't had any face-to-face meetings with those guys since the combine.
And he just signed for over $20 million guaranteed.
His mental makeup, he's going to be fantastic. He's going to be prepared, but it looks like physically he has made a transformation over the last couple of months. How has that gone for him? And, when you talk about an athlete changing from a physical standpoint, just the work that has gone into that.
Well, that's really all he's been able to do is do his conditioning, throwing, doing some lifting. He's always hit the weight pretty hard in the off season, and he might look like his weight is a lot more, but he's still about the same, and he just distributes it a little different places in the off season. But he never wants to be a 225, 30 pound quarterback. He likes to keep his weight around 215. He's just very fit now because, again, that's his job now full time, and certainly with the limitations going out and doing those type things, that's really what he's been focusing on.
And Coach, so Bill Polian was in the news yesterday, and he was basically saying that he just thinks that Joe Burrow's going to have a really tough time of it this year because of how far behind he is. And he references a Bill Parcells quote about the only way to get better at football is to practice football. You know football better than anyone. You've coached for decades yourself. How do you view what Joe's had to deal with in this crazy offseason? Like, how ready can you be to make that jump when you are trying to do everything virtually?
Well, I think it's hard enough to make a transition between college football and the NFL at any position, and especially quarterback. But, he's going to play with the cards that he's been dealt with, and he'll be prepared mentally for really what he's going to see. But, I agree. You have to play and go against the live competition to really, hone your skills and see what you're up against. And so it's going to be a process. There's going to be some ups and downs for him, I'm sure. And but just his mental makeup, I know he's going to be able to handle it. Some of the greatest quarterbacks that's ever been have certainly struggled as rookies, and I'm sure that's what Mr. Polian is basing his thoughts on.
What do you think? Do you remember, was there a game when Joe was at LSU where you were kind of like exceptionally nervous or anxious before it?
Well, I'd say this past year, just the Texas game, not knowing really what to expect yet from LSU, from Joe, from the offense, playing in that hostile environment. And I knew as a coach that particular game was going to set the stage for the rest of the season. And if you lost that game, then you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And so that one was I was pretty nervous. But to tell you the truth, probably the most nervous was one of the only games I saw the year before, and that was getting ready to play the University of Miami and in Dallas, because there was Joe finally doing what he always wanted to do, and that's quarterback somebody that might one of these days have a chance at the national championship. And it was a big day for Joe and our family, and so pretty nervous that day.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that, right? Because it's a debut game. It's that first kind of prove yourself on that stage. Have you thought at all, or do you have any idea how you think you're going to be feeling when you know he's getting the start and he lines up for that first game in an NFL uniform?
Oh, I'm certainly know that I'll be nervous. It's like a coach. I coached over 30 years, and I still was nervous before the opening kickoff. And as a parent, any time, whether it's third grade, fourth grade, national championship, or NFL, you're going to have butterflies as a parent, because you want your son or daughter to do well and stay healthy. And so, but it'll be a big, certainly a big feeling for us, because we know how hard Joe's worked to get to that point, and we'll be anxious to see how it's going to turn out.
It'll be a home opener versus the Los Angeles Chargers, and if I'm not mistaken, you have said on this show that Joe and the Boses are like best friends.
Yeah,
is that right? I mean,
yeah.
And it was a good day for Joey's in football yesterday.
I saw that, and hopefully he'll stay off of Joe a little more than usual. But another kind of a twist of fate is Gus Bradley, their defensive coordinator. He and I coached together at North Dakota State. We're very good friends of their family, and Gus watched Joe grow up for a couple of years when we were in Fargo, and then I did have a little hand in getting him involved in the NFL with Monty Kiffin at Tampa. So that's going to be fun to see that how that's going to turn out.
So Coach, I mean, look, raising a kid, I'm going through it. It's a long experience. I'm here at the very beginning of it. I imagine it could be very expensive experience? You going to remind Joe, like, how much him and his brothers used to eat? You know, look, that car you got in high school, that wasn't free. Like, how are you going to approach that?
How about the rent the last couple of months?
Yeah, I mean, you've been staying in the basement. Like, come on, break a little bit off for Papa Bear.
Our food bill did go up considerably,
Yeah.
but once again, just as a parent, you're always going to be willing to do things for free for your kids, and we'll continue to do that. And
Good guy.
just when we go out at a restaurant or something one of these days, and maybe we'll let him pick up the tab every now and then.
You should, Coach. Go ahead and shuffle
every
that
time.
Shuffle that
Every
ticket
time.
over to the number one pick and the franchise quarterback, the face of the Cincinnati Bengals. One before you get out of here about this year in LSU. We've seen all the highlights, and we were playing the Texas clips when you were talking about the Texas game. And one thing is constant about you and Miss Robin in the stands is that you see the Brennans right next to you in a lot of the shots. Can you talk about where they are from the process of now going in to becoming the starter at LSU, following Joe up, and just kind of getting to know them over the last couple of years, and what you think about the responsibility that Miles has coming up?
Well, first of all, we developed a good relationship with Owen and really his whole family, just from those times we sat with them. And what we always appreciated was the fact that they supported Joe really from day one, and there was never any bitterness that, hey, Joe was the starter once he was named the starter, and that always showed us a lot of class from that family. And we've communicated. They were very good about asking things that we did in the off season with Joe, or he did to get better, and they always wanted Miles to really watch and learn from Joe. Once that relationship developed between Miles and Joe, I think Miles is now prepared to be the starting quarterback at LSU. Of course, I watched him go from whatever he was, 185 to 220 pounds. So that's a big part of getting ready physically and even mentally. The stronger you get, the more conditioned you get, you become more confident mentally in how you can handle it. And Joe, I know, feels great about Miles. He's confident that Miles can lead them back to a championship season, and we're excited, and hopefully we can be there for some games.
Absolutely. Coach, tell the family hello. Congratulations on all the success with what Joey has experienced over the last 24 hours, and good luck in the future. Thank you again.
All right, guys. See you sometime down the road.
Yes, sir.
Go Tigers.
There he is.
Thanks,
Coach Jimmy Burrow checking in. Would you rather Wednesday now?